The desert doesn't whisper at night, it listens. That's what every local in northern Arizona says, though most laugh it off. But if you've ever hiked under a moonless October sky, you know the truth. The air carries sounds that don't belong to anything alive, and sometimes those sounds follow you home. It began as a challenge, the kind people take on for the thrill of it. A midnight hike through Coconino National Forest, under the harvest moon. The group was small. Ethan, a seasoned outdoorsman, Maria, his girlfriend, and Dylan, their friend who carried a GoPro strapped to his chest for content. They weren't ghost hunters. They weren't looking for trouble. They were just after a viral hiking video, Arizona's haunted trails in October. The first half of the hike was ordinary, too ordinary. The sky stretched black and wide, the trees whispering like old voices behind thin curtains of wind. Somewhere far off, a coyote yipped. Dylan laughed, mimicking the sound. But the echo that came back wasn't an echo. It was lower, slower. And it mimicked him back, word for word. The air in October feels charged in Arizona. Not cold, not yet, but brittle, as though the desert itself holds its breath. Leaves crunch underfoot, dry and thin, and the smell of juniper mixes with distant smoke from campfires. It's the kind of night that makes you feel alive, right up until the moment you realize you're not alone. Maria had always loved that feeling, the quiet, the isolation. But that night, every silence felt heavy. Every sound lingered too long. Even the wind seemed to hesitate, circling the trio as they made their way deeper into the dark pines. They stopped near an abandoned ranger station. The building looked half-eaten by time, the wood warped, the windows black. Ethan pulled out his flashlight and swept it across the structure. The beam caught something, a set of scratches near the doorway. Not animal scratches, symbols, twisted spirals, and crude stick figures carved deep into the wood. "Locals call this Skinwalker territory," Dylan said, grinning nervously at the camera. "Bet you didn't know that." Maria frowned. "Skinwalker?" Ethan scoffed, but the sound came out thin. "It's just Navajo folklore. Witches that can turn into animals. Don't tell me you believe that crap." But the words didn't stick, because the forest had gone silent again. It started with footsteps, not their own, heavier, measured, following just outside the ring of their flashlight beams. Ethan swung his light around. Nothing, just trees. But the sound moved, circling them, slow, calculated. Then the smell hit. Rot, sharp and animal, like something dead dragged too long in the sun. "Probably a coyote carcass," Ethan said, his voice shaking. But they all knew it wasn't. The smell didn't stay still. It moved with the sound. Then came the whistle. A long, low tone, human, but not quite right. Dylan froze. That's my whistle." And it was. The exact same pitch, the same rhythm he'd done earlier while joking around. Maria grabbed his arm. "We need to go." They turned, retracing their steps down the trail. Only the trail was gone. Every direction looked the same. Black trees, black dirt, no path. By now they were running blind. The GoPro light bobbed wildly, catching glimpses of shapes between the trees, something moving, fast on all fours. It was too big for a coyote, too silent for a human. And then, from the dark, a voice called out, "Ethan!" It was Maria's voice, except Maria was standing right next to him, clutching his jacket. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. "Who's there?" he yelled, his voice cracking. The forest didn't answer, but the sound of laughter drifted back, layered, distorted, as if someone was learning how to laugh for the first time. Dylan lifted the GoPro. The red light blinked, flickering against a silhouette. A shape, long arms, wrong proportions, a human face that wasn't human. Its head tilted, its mouth opened, and it spoke again with Maria's voice. "Why are you leaving so soon?" The thing stepped forward, slow and deliberate, one leg jerking out of sync, like a puppet forced to remember how to walk. Its skin shimmered. Not clothing, but skin, stretched too tight, moving like wax under heat. Dylan screamed, dropping the camera. If you're still watching, take a second to hit subscribe and like this video. Trust me, it helps more than you know. Especially when stories like this one come straight from real Arizona locals. And if you've ever heard something mimic your voice in the dark, drop your story in the comments below. Now, back to what happened next. They ran. Branches tore at their clothes, their lungs burned, and the smell followed. That same putrid stench of rot and wet fur. Behind them, the sound of footsteps pounded the ground, but they weren't always in sync. Sometimes two, sometimes four, sometimes many. It was like the forest itself was alive and chasing them. They found the old ranger station again, or maybe another one that looked the same. They burst inside, slamming the door shut. Ethan pressed against it while Maria searched for something, anything, to block it. Dylan, shaking, turned his flashlight toward the far corner. There was someone already in the room. At first glance, it looked like another hiker, a woman crouched, her face hidden by long, matted hair. Hey, we need help," Dylan gasped. "Something's out there." The woman didn't move. The air grew thick, the same smell, stronger now, like it was breathing through the walls. Then she lifted her head. Her eyes gleamed white, pupil-less. Her jaw hung too wide, the skin around it cracked. She smiled. And then, in Ethan's voice, she said, "It's inside." The door behind him burst open. The next few minutes were chaos. Screaming, crashing, the GoPro hitting the floor. The footage would later end abruptly, the image freezing on a half-formed face crawling through the doorframe, its body twisting, reshaping. By sunrise, only Maria was found wandering the highway, barefoot and incoherent. Maria still lives in Arizona, though she doesn't hike anymore. When asked about that night, she always gives the same answer. "We were hunted." She doesn't remember how she got out, only that the moment she stopped hearing the melody of that mocking whistle, she could finally breathe again. Local rangers refused to release the full footage from Dylan's camera, but fragments were leaked online, shaky, distorted, but real enough to send chills down anyone's spine. In one frame, there's a voice, deep, ragged, whispering something under the static. Forensic analysts enhanced it, and though opinions differ, most agree it says, "You looked too long." To this day, campers near Coconino report strange things, voices calling their names from deep within the woods, footsteps pacing outside their tents long after midnight, and that same sickly sweet smell drifting on the wind before dawn. Every October, the park closes certain trails due to wildlife concerns, but locals know better. They say that's when it hunts, the Skinwalker, the thing that wears the faces of the lost. If you made it this far, take a breath. Now look around your room. Every shadow looks normal, right? Just remember, not every sound outside your window is the wind. If you enjoy true horror stories like this, subscribe for more. Hit like so this video reaches other night owls like you, and share your own experience in the comments. Because here in Arizona, the next voice you hear calling your name might not be human.